All right, smarten up. Here we go again. He is a two-time Bassmaster Elite Series champion, the reigning Bassmaster Elite Series Rookie of the Year, a Bassmaster Classic qualifier, the one and only Cowboy, Joey Cifuentes, joins me this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome all friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course my humpers. Happy hump day to each and every one of you, and welcome in once again to the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 170th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope wherever you are in the world you are having a great week, a great day. And I thank you for taking some time away from whatever it is you're supposed to be doing to spend a little time here with me and this particular brand of tomfoolery. Moment of total honesty, while you're watching this, I am not here. I am currently, God willing, in Orlando, Florida for the icast show. Yes, the icast show. I'm sure you've heard lots about it. It is the big show where once a year all the grand poobahs of this fishing world emerge in Orlando, and you release everything new. All the latest, greatest, shiniest, fastest, smallest, biggest, everything new and exciting, whether it's rod, reels, lines, lures, clothing, everything, it all just comes out here. And it's a fun time, to be honest. I mean, other than the location where you're just perpetually sweating, because that's Orlando in July is, well, it's special. It's very special. But I love catching up with everybody. I love seeing a lot of people from the industry that I don't see all the time. It is always a great week, an exciting week, a fun week. Going to be a busy week. I mean, I spent a lot of time with all the different partners. Also going to be, I'm going to be pimping this podcast because guess what? My goal was to build this and they will come, and you guys came. Well, now it's time that we gotta start making some money from this. So if you see me on the icast floor and you're interested in becoming part of the Mercer Podcast, holler, I will come running. We would love to have so many great companies support, and we have great supporters of this show, but we've never actively gone out and sold the Mercer Podcast. Well, this year we're gonna. So let's hope that goes well, or you might not see me next week. No, you will. I'm an idiot. I've done it long enough for nothing. Might as well do it for nothing for a little while longer. Not for nothing. See, that sounds horrible. I mean, this show has given so much to me, and what it's given mostly is you guys and how awesome you've been. Speaking of awesome show last week, Derby Boys, banger. I mean, all four of them, can't thank them enough for their honesty. Can't thank them enough for just having fun and just being themselves. And their show came out this past Sunday. If you haven't checked it out, go over to Derby Boys and check it out. I got to thank all of you guys for showing the support you did in comments, showing the support as quick as you supported everything they put out there. Thank you. It really is amazing. And I got to congratulate them on a successful launch because, let's face it, I mean, they took kind of a risk. I mean, the best thing is that's literally just them being themselves. That's not them acting. That is literally just who they are. And it's awesome to see the feedback that they've gotten. So congratulations, Derby Boys. And I'm all for making them show regulars. I mean, they've all been on here a lot individually. But I say, I don't know. You guys think, should the Derby Boys be show regulars? I mean, I don't know, once a quarter or something like that, have them on here. And, well, the nice thing is I just kick back and laugh. That's basically what I did the entire podcast. So, yeah, that was something. Congratulations to you guys. Also, congratulations, Chase Shakurik took a big win on Lake St. Clair this past week in the Bassmaster Opens. So he's punched his ticket to the Bassmaster Classic. He'll be even more popular in the Bassmaster Elite Series because that'll allow one more Elite Series angler to qualify because he's threatening for Angler of the Year as it is there. So he's already in the Classic from the Open. So congratulations on that. Speaking of Lake St. Clair, this week's guest has a great time with Lake St. Clair because he won there last year. I mean, there was really very little he did last year that he didn't win at. He had 2 Elite Series wins in his rookie season. He won Dakota Lithium Rookie of the Year, finished in 5th in our Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year standings, qualified for the Classic. I mean, anything that Joey Cifuentes touched last year literally turned to gold. But what a difference a year makes. A much tougher year. He went from finishing 5th in Angler of the Year points last year to his current standing right now in 102nd place for Angler of the Year. How does that happen? I don't know, but we're going to ask him. And here's one thing I'll say. Super cool of Joey Cifuentes. As soon as I reached out to him, I mean, it's a lot tougher to do podcasts when you're having a tough season. When you are hammering them, it is so easy to do podcasts. I mean, just talking about hammering. Who doesn't want to talk about that? Well, it's a lot tougher when you're not catching them. But he did not hold up one bit. He said, hey, gladly talk about it and gladly talk about what's going on. And he does that, and then, so much more. And I thank him for that. Because I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, there's a lot of fishing podcasts out there. My goal from the start with this fishing podcast was literally, let's just have conversations with friends, and hopefully in time, those friends will learn to trust me enough and this show enough that they'll just totally open up and be who they really are. Well, if last week's show and this week's show doesn't prove that this show is finally getting there, I don't know what will. Because Joey Cifuentes not only took time away from his vacation, but he does this whole podcast with no shirt, and he performs music. He sets 2 records. I mean, the first guest to be a musical guest, the first guest to do it without a shirt. Who would have thought that Matt Robertson didn't get that title? But yes, Joey Cifuentes does all that and so much more. So right now, we travel all the way. I believe he's he's on a beach somewhere with no shirt and a guitar. The Cowboy, Joey Cifuentes. We now interrupt this vacation to bring you Joey Cifuentes. You are living
Here I am.
You're a beach cowboy this week.
I'm a beach cowboy this week. I am, well, I'm going to tell you where I am. Scott, where are we? How do you hear that guitar? Can you hear it?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I need the words.
It's our very first musical guest.
Is it really, Dave?
Well, I mean, I think we've had people who can play music on, but they didn't.
Okay. I got to hold somebody to get the lyrics for me.
Okay.
But driving down the interstate, running 30 minutes late, singing Margaritaville and minding my own. Foreign car driving, road rage attitude. Rolled up beside me, talking on the cell phone. Someone yelling like I did something wrong. Give me the bird, and then it was wrong. Some beach, somewhere. No, I played the chords wrong. We should redo that.
I want to go on vacation with you. You seem like a lot of fun.
Somewhere. And there's a big umbrella cast in a shade over an empty chair. And blowing, hunting, blowing. Picture myself right there on some beach. Somewhere. That's where I'm at, Dave. I'm somewhere on a beach. I'm relaxing. You know, I think it's pretty obvious that the old Cowboy, he tore it up last year, and this year he ain't tearing it up.
No.
Right?
No.
And matter of fact, he's at the bottom of the barrel, Dave.
Not
and I'm
looking
fine
like
with
it right
that.
now. But you're not looking like you're at the bottom of the barrel right now. I'll be honest.
No, I listen, Dave. There's way more to life than bass fishing tournaments, and I love bass fishing, and I do. I love it. I love competing. I love trying to win, and I mean, you seen that last year. I had a blast. I had the best season of my life. But there's more to life than work. For all the people out there listening, all the people on the podcast, grinding day to day. There's more work, or there's more to life than work, and it's about time. It's about spending time with your family and having a good time. And I'm going to tell you something right now. For the last week, we have been down at a place I grew up fishing down in Florida, Homosassa Springs. We went down there. We had fun. We caught a bunch of redfish. We caught a bunch of snook. I had a chance at a tarpon. I hung a big tarpon. And right now we are at the beach in Fort Walton Beach, and we're having a good time. And that's what it's all about, Dave. You know how it is. Spending time with your family, with the kids. And
Amen.
that's what it's all about.
Freaking men. And I feel like that doesn't need to just be said for you, but that needs to be said for now in bass fishing. Like it has been so strange to me. Like I don't remember a year with, and dude, you're having a bad season fishing wise.
Yeah.
But for you to be in this attitude as you are right now is so refreshing because, dude, it just seems everybody's living in a world of doom and gloom when really they should be sitting on the beach and enjoying life, because that is a much better way to go.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's something my dad's told me. And my dad was, he was a successful business guy. I mean, he had a good business but you go through ups and downs. And it's pretty crazy that I had such a crazy good season. I won 2 tournaments the first year. And then all of a sudden I'm having the worst tournament of my career. But that's life, man. You're going to go through, that's just a perfect example. You're going to go through ups and downs. Let me tell you something, Dave. I promise you we're going to come out of this thing. I know for a fact I've got a family behind me that supports me, that's pushing me. That's Joey. The schedule wasn't good. It was tough, but you're going to come out of it. And I know it is. I love bass fishing, Dave. Like I've never been a Kevin Van Dam. I've never been like, or any of these guys that catch them every year and again. I have my ups and downs. It's like one year I do good, one year I do bad. So, we're going to keep plugging, man. We're going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep fishing and having a good time. And man, as long as this thing rides out, we're going to do it. And, we're enjoying the ride right now. I got my family. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah. That is the truth in life. I mean, you got beautiful family, and that is truly all that matters. But I mean, dude, and you must be a good dude to go on vacation with. I mean, I always go on vacation. I see that dude with a guitar on the beach, and I'm like, I want to hang with that dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, last night we were in down where I was telling you about, Homosassa Springs, Florida. We were down there for a week, and we got to the beach last night, and I got my guitar, and I don't really like to be the guy, the guy that shows up on the beach with a guitar that wants to jam and have a good time. But I do at the same time. My father-in-law, Scott, he's a great guy. We have a good time. We sing, we play guitar. My wife is an excellent singer. She is. Yeah. She sings the national anthem at a lot of the Elite Series events, and she's going to do it at the next 2 whenever we go up to New York.
Awesome.
And they're going to be there. But man, we just enjoy hanging out and enjoying the sunshine and singing songs. And man, life's short, Dave. Like you know how it is. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but it's crazy. I'm 30. I don't even know if I'm 35 or 36, but I'm somewhere in that, right there in that age. And I know that's probably young to you, but life goes fast, man. It goes fast. And we got to have fun. Like, yeah. It's not, I love, like I said a minute ago, I love bass fishing, Dave. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm very fortunate to have gotten started in bass fishing, and Larry Nixon teaching me bass fishing and doing that. But, but really to me, the most important thing is my family and spending time with them because life's short. And we know that. I've just said that, but I don't want to make it sound like I don't care about bass fishing, but I do. But it's just too short. I mean, good grief, man. You know, Dave, talk to me.
Yeah,
Ask me a question.
I'm I agree. And just so you know, I'm 50. So yeah, 36 does seem young to me.
Yeah,
But
you're 50. You're old.
I know. I'm freaking old. I get it. I get it. This podcast off to a great start. You are young, virile, guitar playing, beach bum, and I am an old man. But I will tell you one thing I know about fishing. You're never going to solve a bad season by sitting in doom and gloom. I mean, you are doing the right thing to, I mean, first of all, you're on this freaking podcast. People win after they're on this podcast. I don't know if you've paid attention. Justin Hamner, the classic. Takumi, last event. The week before, they were both on this. So I'm seeing a win in your future to turn things around. But you are doing the right thing because I think most people, and you tell me what you think, but I feel like most people, when it starts going bad, they just they try to force it. They try to change it, but being who you are, this is who you were last year. I mean, you had your shirt on more, but this is still very much who you were.
Should I cover up a little bit more? Cover the nipples?
First musical guest and first topless guest on this show. Thank you, Joey Cifuentes.
I'm surprised. Matt Robinson hasn't been topless?
He'll be pissed when he finds out you took it from him.
Oh, I love Matt. Me and Matt are buddies. Yeah, Dave. I love being on your podcast. I love fishing. I know I've said that 100 times. But I really, if we're going to talk about my season, okay, let's talk about my season starting out.
All right.
There's been, first off, the schedule to me, and this is just, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
The schedule starting out was great. The first two tournaments, Toledo Bend, Lake Fork. I was so pumped, Dave. I was like, okay, I can catch them doing this and that, and I thought I could do well. And then after that, it was like most of the tournaments were, honestly, for me, because I've only been fishing for, I want to say maybe 5 to 7 years professionally, or whatever the years are. I have not experienced a lot of the tournaments post spawn.
Yeah.
Honestly, we went to Harris Chain. It was post spawn. We went to, I know there's some guys. Obviously, Chris won bed and fish up in the spring thing. That's kind of
Corey, but they're the same.
Or whatever, Corey.
No big deal.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't keep up with this stuff, but yeah, Corey won on a spawners or whatever in the spring. But still, it's kind of like it was post spawn stuff. Anyways, but for me, the schedule was a little later. You know, it seemed a little different for me. So I didn't know really kind of how to handle it. And the other thing, Dave, too, is, I've spent my entire career with Larry Nixon, and he's been right there by my side, and he's been helping me. And I'm not going to be ashamed to tell you that he has helped me tremendously. I mean, stay grounded, make decisions in bass tournaments. Now, we don't fish the same, and I don't do the same stuff that Larry does, but he has helped me tremendously. And so this year I lost Larry, and that's been a big change in my career, in my traveling and stuff. So it's been a little different, but still, I can't put a finger on it, Dave. You can ask me 20 different questions, and I'm sure you've got some questions you want to ask me, but it's just been a weird year for me. Do I still think I can compete with these guys and do well and do stuff? Yes, 100%. Of
course.
I have been, I heard, Express Boats guy.
Lee?
What's his name?
Lee
No,
Livesey?
not Lee.
Caleb?
No, not Lee. Nope.
Bill Lowen?
Nope. Bill Lowen. He won on the Tennessee. He won on Pickwick, right? Okay, so he
Yes.
won on Pickwick, and I remember him saying that he had won a tournament prior to Pickwick, right?
No, he
No,
had never won. He was the big cash checker. That's when
okay,
he
so
became Dollar Bill, and then he won at Pickwick finally. But he had been, you know, so close to winning so many times. But finally, his first win was Pickwick.
well, I think after that tournament, he maybe he didn't do as well for an
Yeah.
extended period of time. And I want to relate myself to that more because I feel like I'm trying to look for these things that are, I mean, you think about Seminole, I was oddball man out, right? Seminole,
Yeah.
drop shotting on Seminole.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't normal. Caught him on a drop shot in the timber. It's kind of happened before, but not really to win a tournament. So I did that. I always look for things that are out there. I don't like fishing around guys. And that's so stupid. I'm telling you guys, if you're listening right there, all you viewers, and you fish bass tournaments and you go fish a tournament, if you have to, sometimes you have to go intermingle with people and you have to do well. You look at St. Clair, Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay was loaded full of fish. I knew it was. I didn't go there. And I didn't want to fish there in the tournament just because I knew towards the weekend the boat traffic was going to be so bad and it was going to be trouble catching a lot of the smallmouth. So I wanted to try, and I kept pushing myself to find something different. And I think most of this year I've done that. You know, the first tournament I was on camera. I had a boat, had a camera in my boat the first day, and I was trying to do something away from everybody else. And honestly, I think that's kind of what's made my season the way it is. But I don't care. I mean, I've already done things in my career that I'm a lot of people haven't done, and I'm very blessed, and I'm thankful to have that, and it's been fun.
Let's look at the Larry thing first of all, because I mean, honestly, like looking at, I mean, I've talked about it a bunch on live. I mean, it's amazing it's not amazing in a good way, but it's shocking to see where you are. And obviously one of the things that comes up is Larry. I mean, and people are like, do you think that has helped Joey? And I'm like, how can that not help Joey? And I don't mean he didn't put you on fish or anything like that, but I'm sure there was tutelage. When you're going into the final day and you're leading an event, who else do you want sitting in the same room you're staying in than Larry Nixon? What kind of things? Tell me about that relationship and what kind of things how did he help you do what you did last season?
It's more what Larry helped me did was more on the mental aspect.
Yeah.
Because I learned when I first started traveling with Larry, I learned early in my career, he would tell me, hey, Joey, I'm catching them on a spinner bait, doing this or whatever. And then I would try and go that, and it just wouldn't work. It's just not my style of fishing. So I learned that I had to do what I had confidence in. But at the same time, when you had a guy like Larry that was honest with you, that's so important, man. I swear, I don't know if I really wanted to go into this, but I had a roommate this year, starting out, a great kid, leading everything. Everybody probably knows who he is, Trey McKinney. Great kid. I don't have anything bad to say about Trey, but we just didn't jive together well. And he probably doesn't know that, and he'll learn it on this podcast, but I'm 35, he's 19. Yeah. And sometimes your fishing styles just don't work. Having a good roommate. I mean, you look at a lot of the successful guys in the fishing industry and the little groups of guys, it just works. And when it works, that everybody's on the same page. Well, I love Trey, but it just didn't work. So me and him kind of split ties through the season from after Lake Murray, but nothing against him. I mean, we talked many times, but it's been a big change for me, Dave. It's been a big change. So I'm trying to. That makes the mental aspect and what people tell you on the phone. I mean, well, a lot of what maybe people don't understand about bass tournaments is when we go to practice, okay, we get 3 days of practice. Somebody's calling you on the phone constantly, and they're saying, "How you catching them, Joey? Are they doing this? Are they doing that?" Everybody thinks I'm some forward-facing sonar guru guy. So there are people like, "Are you catching them on? You're catching them on Murray on the fry garters, whatever. How are you catching them? Are you getting a bite?" You know, like I had some random calls. One guy, Scott Martin, never calls me. He calls me. He goes, "How you catching them?" You know, like, "Are you catching them on the drop shot or this and that?" And like, it just plays with your head. Like it does. I mean, it's different. And so what I started to do towards this last tournament, like at Smith Lake, I started shutting those people out. I told Trey, I said, "Listen, man, I just want to kind of get away from that." And I had a great tournament at Smith. I was on them. I had 3 or 4 dead fish within that tournament. Have you heard the story? What happened to me on the water?
No.
Okay. I don't know if I
Please.
should do this or not.
Well, it's too late now.
All right. Yeah, it's too late now. We got to tell everybody. So what happened, Dave, was, and listen, it's not Bass's fault at all. But because I had a lot of dead fish, I had 4 dead fish over the day. It would have got me in the top 50 cut, which is huge. I mean, a lot of people don't realize making the top 50 cut is $10,000.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much money. And I've been having such a bad year, so it's been a really big thing for me. But what happened on day 2 was I went out fishing. I had 4 fish in my live well. I caught my 5th keeper spotted bass. My biggest fish was a 2.5 pounder, which is a good one. Like on Smith Lake, that's a good fish. So I had a 2.5 pound fish in my live well. I caught my 5th keeper. I went to open my live well. My 2.5 pounder jumped out of the live well into the lake, and I'm talking about out of my Phoenix boat, directly out of the live well with a coal tag on it into the water.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it went in the water, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like this is terrible. This is my biggest fish." And it's still early. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I've still got a lot of day to fish, and the fish were biting towards the end of the day better anyway. So like I was freaking out. I was really upset. So the fish jumped in the live well. Well, I got it on my live scope, and then directly, I mean, you know what I got to do? I got to find that fish with the coal tag on him. And I was following him around with my live scope, and I could see the fish with the coal tag sticking up above his head, you know, because it's got some flotation on it. I was using the...
You're physically seeing it or seeing it on your live scope?
No, seeing on my live scope. But yeah, so I'm following this fish around, and I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, I'm following this fish around on live scope. And it's wanting to dig. It's digging. It's wanting to go deep, but it can't because I've got those Cowboy clip coal tags, and it's got a pretty good sized little float on it. So that fish, once it wears out, it starts to come up to the top. So that fish starts coming up to the top, and it gets to the surface. And so I run my trolling motor in my boat up to this fish, and every time I get close to it, it dives on me. And it goes down. And Dave, you know, like, I'm sick. I mean, I want to grab it with my hand. I know that's probably the right thing to do, is to get it with my hand. So the fish goes down. It comes back up again. I get up close to it. It dives again. And I'm like, man, this is not good. I have got to get, and the first thing instinctively in my brain is I've got to get a bait when that coal tag comes up that I can stay back away from that fish, and I can throw over there and I can snag my coal tag and I can get the fish back in the boat. So the fish comes up. I picked up my Berkeley whatever that walking bait they have is that Justin Atkins won the dang Force Week Cup on. You know what I'm talking about, Dave. Come on, give it to me.
I'm helping you too much in this podcast. Really,
He's helping me too much. You remember the cane walker? Okay,
cane walker.
It's the cane walker. So I pick up my cane walker because it's a really good bait to throw around spotted bass. It's silver. It's got like a straight crown body. Anyways, got to have that tied on if you're on spotted bass. Anyways, so I fire it out there, one cast. I snag the cull tag. I bring it into the boat. I get my 2.5 pounder back and I put it in the live well. Well, I had a marshal with me. He was a young kid, and he, as I did too, I felt like it was a kind of a weird situation.
Yeah.
And he mentioned to me, he said, "Joe, you should call the tournament director." And I said, "Yep, absolutely, let's do it." So I called Lisa. She's the tournament director, and she gets Chris Bowman on the phone.
Chris Bowes.
Or Chris Bowes. I'm sorry, not Bowman. Gets Chris Bowes on the phone, and they tell me I have to throw the fish back. There's no rule for what I did. There is no rule in Bassmaster history that he said. There's no rule to it. There's nothing has ever happened to that extent. Now, if I would have grabbed Chris told me on the phone, he said, "Joe, if you'd have grabbed it with your hand, we would have gave you that fish." But there's still no rule. So they're going to have to add a Joey Cifuentes Cowboy rule to the Bassmaster lineup of thousands and thousands of rules to this certain situation. And listen, there's been so many situations throughout this year that's been just like that, just not gone my way. It's been tough, and it's been hard. It's been a hard year, but dude, I'm thankful. Like I said, Dave, I'm nothing against Bass. Like, they have to make the call, and it's a new rule thing. Like, they got to do what they got to do. Now, should I have kept the fish? There's no rule. The rule they applied it to was if you casted, you hung a fish, you broke your line, you can only use that. Yeah, you can only use, same rod to try and dip in there and get the rod or get the line and bring it in. That's what they applied to me. That puts me in the cut. Now, does that change my season and put me in the Bassmaster Classic? No, it's not. But still, it's just been one of those years, Dave. But we all go through tough times in life. Like, and let me make something clear. This is a bass fishing tournament. This is not a tough time in life. Like, my family and the things that are close to me are most important. The bass fishing tournaments don't mean anything to me. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like they really don't. Like, I could care less if this is the last time we ever make a podcast together and Joey Cifuentes is done for fishing bass tournaments, that's fine with me. I will go live my life happily and spend the time with my family and have a great time. But it's just been a rough year. It's been a rough year.
Well, dude, great perspective. I mean, again, that honestly is the truth about life. Like, I mean, God forbid if something were to happen to your house, there was a fire. Those trophies are very low on the list of things that you come out of that house. You know what I mean? You don't run to get your trophies. Those don't matter. But dude, that is one. I'm still shocked from that story. I had not heard that at all, and it just gosh. Like, do you think that was the right call? Like, nothing. I mean, it's not slighting Bass, but in your opinion, I mean, to me, it seems weird that you could have grabbed it with your hand like that. That's, I don't know.
The only thing, Dave, is there's no rule for it.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, and there being no rule for it, and was I technically breaking a rule? No, I never broke a rule because there's not a rule. So So no, I should have been able to keep that fish. I would have made the cut. But like I said, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to really make that big a difference on my season. Maybe ultimately in me requalifying and fishing Bassmaster, I guess it could potentially, but it's not that big a deal. I love Bassmaster. I love the way they handle tournaments, and I love Chris. I love Lisa. They do an excellent job. I don't think they made their, there's a lot of people that called me on the phone that thought I should be able to keep that fish, but especially Larry. he was pissed. He was like, "Joe, you should have kept that fish," and I was like, "Well, it is what it is, man." I try and look at the positives on everything, and I learned something. They're going to make they have to make a new rule for next year. I think that's pretty cool. I got to be a part of a rule maker, and it's not a negative one, like getting information before the Elite Series tournament starts. Like some of the rookie kids. But anyway, so it's not that bad.
Wow, no, but I agree with you there, and I mean, if everything I say is officially unofficial, I just yell stuff when you guys win. But to me, if you're not breaking a rule, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like we've had that happen in the past where different things have happened, and it's like there's no rule. I mean, Jacob Wheeler when he won on where did he win in Tennessee? It doesn't matter. So he won in Tennessee, and he got into Dustin Connell's boat because his boat broke down. But there's a rule now that you can't fish out of another competitor's boat. But at that time, there was no rule because it had never happened. So he never got, you know what I mean? It was just, well, we'll make a rule about it. So it does seem, I mean, I don't want to start beef with the tournament department, but I feel your pain.
Start the beef, Dave.
All right,
start the beef.
They're wrong. Lisa, you're wrong. Sorry, we were on the beach.
Dude.
Beach talk.
Yeah.
You can get away with anything when you're on the beach. Wow, that is a crazy story. So any other craziness like that happen, or has it just been...
Dave, like I said earlier, I've been fishing to win. No crazy stories. It changes. It changes a guy. I've dreamt about winning a Bassmaster Elite Series event. When I won on Seminole, Dave, that was the greatest thing that had ever, to date, that had ever happened in my life. I mean, think about it. I'm on TV. All right. I got my family watching me. My family surprises me to come up, but more so, I'm on TV and I'm on Fox Sports and I got people and dude, I went from like 2,500 followers on Instagram to 25,000 followers overnight. Wow. And the fans just took me in, like, loved the Cowboy, and it was a life changer for me. I mean, that's what, when I started fishing bass tournaments, I always dreamt about winning that tournament. I'd been close and I blew some leads, and like getting that win to me was such a big deal. And then I got two in the same season, man. I was just having fun. I was just fishing on St. Clair. Love St. Clair. Love that place. I'm going to be on Fox Sports next weekend. I talked to Ronnie. I'm going to be doing the live on there for the Bass Open up there. I wanted to fish that tournament, but it couldn't work out. But
that'll be last weekend by the time this airs. Just
last weekend, whatever. Last weekend.
You did great. Really good job.
Yeah, I did great. I did a great job on Fox Sports. But anyways, so I'm gonna be doing that, and man, I'm so happy. I don't want to say that I'm content with my career. I've got the best sponsorship deals I've ever had. There's a lot of people behind me, but that has been the worst part of this season. Is I come out, I've had the best season of my life. I have sponsors that come and they want to promote or help Joey Cifuentes, and I'm going to promote their product with the following that I have. And I've done terrible. And I felt like I've let them down. I really have. And that's been the hardest thing, because I'm a hard worker. I've always worked hard throughout my life, and I don't want people to think that I'm not trying out there, because I have fished my guts out this season. I promise you. It's just been just bad. Just things just haven't worked out. But like I said earlier, it's fishing.
Yeah.
I'm not Kevin Van Dam. I'm not one of these guys that catches them year in, year out. I've never been that guy. Even if you look back at my career fishing on FLW and different circuits, I've always had my ups and downs. But I am very competitive, and I promise you, coming up here especially in these next two tournaments, because I just had a great tournament at Smith Lake, and a lot of things happened wrong, and it put me out of the cut, which would have gave me a lot of confidence and more money and stuff. But I promise you, within these next two tournaments, I'm going to do well, and I'm going to roll that into the next season, and Joey Cifuentes will be back, and he will do well. I do have that confidence, 100%. I always keep a positive attitude. I have to have my wife. She picks me up all the time. I do get in my lulls. I've had down times, but especially this year. But we're gonna keep pushing, Dave. And I really appreciate you having the old Cowboy on your podcast.
Well, of course, dude. I appreciate you doing it. And dude, when you think if you're not gonna have any tough times, like, dude, you literally, while you're talking, I just keep thinking, I'm like, you literally went from last year having fish jump in your boat on Lake St. Clair to having fish jump out of your boat.
Out of your boat, yeah. No, that's exactly what I was thinking too when that happened. I had fish jumping in my boat to out of my boat. But man, I think it's a great lesson. I think it's a great lesson in life. I mean, people see, and I'm so bad on social media. I do not like social media, but you see the positives, Dave. You know how it is. You see all these great things and all the people smiling and taking pictures, and then you see it on my social media channels. I'm the guy. We're on the beach. We're taking pictures. We're having a great time. But behind the scenes, I've got 2 kids. I've got a wife. And we're battling constantly trying to raise these kids, bring them up, and we're fighting all the time. You don't see the negatives. And there's a lot of, it's the same thing in fishing. You go through good times and bad times, and and there's Stella. And but man, we just keep pushing, and we're having a blast. And I like I said, Dave, if Joe doesn't last very long on the Elite Series, which I don't think is going to happen, I've had a good run, and I'm pretty confident, though, me and you are going to be on a podcast here pretty soon.
Yeah, no. You're not going
Another
anywhere.
one, and it's going to be a happy one.
Yeah, this is freaking happy, dude. I mean, you got your shirt off, you're playing guitar. I mean, this is.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. When I texted,
can we sing a song?
I mean, at any point you want to belt out a song, feel free to belt out a song. But
no, keep going.
I'll be honest. When I texted you to do this podcast, I thought this might be a little more somber, because there is so many oftentimes where you see somebody in your situation that will kind of hang their head. But dude, you got nothing to hang your head about. I mean,
hey Dave, I got 40 head of cows at my farm. Do you know how much the beef prices are right now?
No, good.
I'm a millionaire for years.
Dang. Well,
that's a little sarcasm there. That's a little sarcasm there. No, man, we're good. You can't. It's easy to get down and stuff, and I've been, like I said, I've been down, but I'm so blessed. Dave. Like, seriously. I mean, I'm at the beach. I'm hanging out with my family. I've got an awesome wife. I've got beautiful two little girls.
Life is good.
Life is good, man. Life is good. Life is good.
If anything in your life is going to be a little off kilter, that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, you always want to catch them, obviously. But, I mean, dude, when you list out the important stuff, hey, fishing will take care of itself. Work will take care of itself. Did you go into this season feeling and fishing different? You have to. After you show up and you win two, never mind win two, you almost freaking won Angler of the Year, dude. I mean, you won Rookie of the Year, but you almost won Angler of the Year. I mean, you finished in 5th overall. You had to come into this season feeling like, well, if I could do 2 last year, look out.
Yeah, confidence was high, but I will say this. This is just me speaking honestly. It's the only way I talk. I had such a great season that I knew that as far as my sponsors go and the leverage that I had to get more money from my sponsors, I had to really push that.
Yeah.
And I had to take advantage of that because I know I've watched, you look at so many guys that's fished 20 some odd years in the fishing industry and professionally on the Bass Elite Series and other tournament organizations. They don't ever win a tournament, and I just won 2. So I knew that I had to take advantage and get as much money as I could from my sponsors and people that wanted to sponsor me, and I wanted to make sure that was a top priority. And so in my off season, I had my boat rigged and ready to go about 5 days before the first tournament. I was pushing, trying to get all this. Yeah, I was trying to get all this stuff, and I just didn't feel comfortable going into the first tournament. Like, and that's not an excuse. I'm not trying to make an excuse because when it comes down to it, you're still on your boat. You got everything you need, and you're fishing, and you can still do your thing. But I just didn't feel as prepared this year. I felt like I was a little behind as far as preparing for the lakes that I was fishing. And I was thinking, hey, I'll just go there. I know what I need to do and I'll get it done. And no matter what you do in life, you have to take the prep and you have to go do. And another thing is too, Dave, is I'm in a different stage of life that, from last year. Even so, my girls are getting older. I'm a dad to these girls, and they're starting to play sports. I'm wanting to be home more. My wife, my marriage is way more important to me than this bass fishing tournaments, like 100%. I don't care if I do well in that stuff. I want to make sure that my family is number one. Yeah. And so I put more priority into that instead of, going and pre-practicing and doing other tournaments. And that's really changed because I did some of that prior. And now that I'm in this stage of life, I'm focusing more on my family. And I think that's why you probably see me a little slacked off on performance and fishing. But
it's balance is hard in life, dude, in everything, not just in pro fishing, but balance. I mean, it's so hard, and it only gets harder. I mean, people have kids, and they're like, well, I can handle this. And then as those kids start to get older, I mean, it's a lot easier to handle it when the kids aren't as busy, when the kids aren't upset when you're leaving. You know what I mean? They but as they get older, it gets tougher. But
you got kids.
Yeah, I hear you, dude.
You travel, you go to bass tournaments, right?
And you're on the road. Yeah, and there's not a person that works in our line of work that doesn't end up, dude. You will end up feeling like you didn't spend enough time with your kids. Trust me. And
yeah,
I'm 100% a dad when I'm at home, but I still hate that I missed sports games. I hate that I missed certain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just such a weird part. But then I got all my buddies who have never left the little town that I live in, and they work here, and they're like, dude, you've traveled so many places. I've never left here. But it's balance in life, right? And
Yeah.
I think you're doing pretty good, dude. I mean, let's
No,
go. First
go
event
ahead.
last year, if I had have said to you, first event last year, that me and you are going to be doing a podcast with 2 events left to go next year. And by that point, you'll have won 2. You'll have won Rookie of the Year, but you'll have a bunch of bombs. But you're going to have won 2 and made the Classic, and almost you'd have taken it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt.
So you're good. You're good. And here's the best thing. The last event of the year, that you still get in the Classic if you win that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I got the Chris and the Corys to compete with, and the Shakuriks, and the Seth Fighters. And, man, the competition is so – all these guys that fish the Elite Series, they're so good. I'm a peon compared to them. I've always felt that way, Dave. I never felt that I mean, obviously I've done well, and I've proven that I can compete, and that was and I know I could, and I could beat them. But, man, the competition in the Elite Series is so phenomenal. These guys don't mess around.
No.
When you go up to Champlain, and you go up to the St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario, you always have in the back of your mind the Chris and the Corey Johnson. I mean,
yeah,
and Jay Shakurik and obviously a lot of other guys too. But I know that any moment that if I get on the right thing, I can beat them, and if it all works out, like. I know I can beat them, and that keeps me going. But the competition on the Elite Series is phenomenal. I mean, these guys are good. With all everything going down these days with the technology and the different stuff, it's getting so much harder, though. I will say that. I don't want to open up another can of worms, but it's been tough. I mean, it's. You know, it's been tough, but I can do it if I get on the right thing, and like I said earlier, Dave, I've always tried to go out of the box, try and get away from the people. I don't like to fish around folks. I always try and do everything I can to fish. And I won 2 tournaments that year doing that, and that's really a great way to win and solidify a win is finding something out of the box. And I'm going to do that on these last 2. But sometimes you got to know, like, hey, you just got to get in there with them, and you got to fish and compete with them. But the competition's high, and I look forward to these next 2 tournaments. It's going to be fun.
Okay, from the outside. And you said it earlier, people think you're a big forward-facing sonar guy, and clearly you're very proficient with it. I mean, we've seen how good you are with it.
Apparently not, though.
Do you really feel that?
If I was such a great forward-facing sonar guy, I would have done well at Smith Lake. I would have been in the top 10. And I would have for sure been on the top 10 on the first 2 tournaments. And that's the only 2. Or the only 3. It's not that easy. You know, people think that, you just shine your little finger around there and you catch them. I mean, it's not that freaking easy, man. And all the other tournaments have been, you know, post-spawn stuff like it's been tough fishing. Yeah, if all the tournaments were forward-facing sonar tournaments, yeah, maybe I would have done better. So I guess that kind of proves that I would have done better. But I just want to get back to the old way of fishing. That's kind of what I did on these last 2. Is I told people, and the people that I talked to, I said, hey, I don't want to hear from you in practice. I just want to do my own thing. I don't want to talk to you about what you're catching them on and this and that. I just want to fish. And a lot of that stuff I learned from Larry, and he taught me. And I felt like this year I've kind of come away from that. And I think what you'll see is I think you're going to start seeing more of that. I think there's going to be some guys like that are going to get away from the basics, and they're not going to do well. They're not going to win Angler of the Years. The guys that know how to fish shallow and adapt to different situations, different tournaments where forward-facing sonar is not, it's not going to be a player. I think those are the guys who are going to win the tournaments, in my opinion. And I don't know everything, Dave, but that's just what I think.
What do you think the future of it is? I mean, supposedly we're going to have a decision by the end of this season. Not supposedly, we are. You guys are going to find out. What do you think the right call is?
I don't think we know what the right call is, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to limit it.
Yeah.
I think if I look at other sports, if I look at NASCAR and if I look at golf, you only get so many clubs in the bag. Everybody needs to be on the same playing field. Really. That's just my thought on it. I think, and I told them that when they called me and they asked me, Joey, what do you think about what you should have in the boat? I said, I think we should. And honestly, before that, I was open to whatever they want to have. I don't care. I'm going to have my thing and that's going to be it. But honestly, I think everybody should probably have the same thing on their boat. If it's two transducers, forward-facing transducers, I think it should be the same for everybody. And they can pick if it's in the front, then they got one in the back, or they got two in the front, whatever. And you can move those around. I don't think that's too out of the box there. I think just limiting it and making everybody on the same playing field for right now is the best way to go.
Does that change anything though? Like if you're a fan that doesn't like it, which there's obviously vocal fans that don't like it. I don't hear them saying I don't like that they got 5 on their boat. They just don't like watching somebody fish like that. Like, if it was limited to 2 this year, do you think our Angler of the Year standings look any different?
No. No, I don't think so. Now you look at the kids, the rookie guys. They're dominating, right, Dave? I mean, is that not okay?
Most dominant.
The only difference
last year's rookie class, where I kept saying never better than these guys, where there was 4 wins by rookies last year. You were 2 of them, but there was 4 rookie wins last year. This year's rookie class, I mean, I think the least we've had in the top 10 is 2 in one tournament, but it's usually 3 to 5. So yeah, most dominant.
I don't think it's got anything to do with forward-facing sonar and this and that. Really, honestly, like I look at Trey. If I was in his shoes and I was 19 years old and I could go from one tournament to the next and I was pre-practicing and I could be on the lakes and I could do that, like you can't and have the amount of practice that he does. And I'm not talking bad about that. I think it's great. And I think it shows how hard he's working to be the best. And I applaud him for that. I really do. He's doing whatever it takes to do well, but I can't do it. I mean, I've got too many other responsibilities. I mean, it's just that simple. So, and I think there's a lot of other guys out there that have the same. But I don't think it really has to do with that. I mean, now that I think about it, I think it's more about the time you spend on the water and the advantages you take, practicing and fishing.
Well, I think we have a unique blend. Like, I think, and I mean, time will only tell. But if you look at the rookie class, I mean, they went from qualifying through 3 events to 9 events. So you've got a group of savages that have literally qualified for this, and literally that's all their life is. You know what I mean? Tyler Williams, same deal. I mean, he left his house right after Thanksgiving. He will not be home until after Waddington. Not once. Not home to do laundry. Not once. Like, he is literally. And I talked to him, and I'm like, what do you do? Like, he's like, next tournament. I go to the next. I go where I'm legally allowed to pre-fish, and I pre-fish, or I fish lakes that are beside that I'm illegally. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
So there's part of me that looks at that, and I'm like, wow, that's life. I mean, dude, if you're opening a beach bar, the guy who's willing to work the hardest gets rewarded. The guy who's down there making sure it runs smoothly. Now that guy gets a little older and has kids, and he hires people, and maybe his beach bar doesn't do quite as good, but that's kind of what's rewarded. But it just seems like a weird time in our sport. Do you think pre-practice has to change, or do you think it's?
I mean, if you want to see who the best is, yes. If you want to take the guys that have knowledge on just basic fishings and showing up at a lake, no pre-practice, show up and fish, and do the best, I think you'll see a big difference. I do think that. So does the pre-practice stuff need to change? I don't know. I don't know what Bassmaster's looking for. I don't know what they're wanting to promote and what they're. I don't know if they care about that. But if it's about who's the best angler at that lake, then yes, it has to completely stop. There needs to be no pre-practice. We need to show up at a lake and we need to fish. And whoever the best person is on that lake, no pre-practice, no prior knowledge, period. That's how you determine who the best person is that week. And maybe I'm crazy on that. I mean, I don't know what you think, Dave, but I really think that. Like, I don't think there's a and I'm not trying to be. Listen,
No, we're just having an honest conversation on the beach.
Yeah. We're just having an honest conversation. Right. But if you think about it, could I leave and go practice and pre-practice and jeopardize my family and my kids and ruin my relationship with my wife? And you know what I'm saying? Could I do that? Sure. I could jeopardize my entire life or the things that care about me to go pre-practice. I could do it 100% and just put them behind and not care about my family. And I could go, and I promise you, if I could leave and go pre-practice from each tournament and not even think about them, I guarantee you I would have done or would do a lot better than I do. So I think that's a thing. I do. I think that's a big factor.
So how do they make it? Like, does it become like the classic? Like, after January, you can't fish any of the bodies of water we're going to? Like, how do you make a rule? You know what I mean? Because what is it, 28 days now? So 28 days out, the water's shut off. So you cannot, if we've got a tournament on Gunnersville, 28 days from now, you can't pre-fish any of that. But you can do what you want. You can pre-practice any time before that. So how do you make it so there's no pre-practice? Is it as soon as the schedule's announced, you're shut down in those bodies of water?
I think we go back to the old days.
Mystery, you're going to talk about it.
Am I talking about what's his name? The greatest cowboy hat. The guy that wore the cowboy hat.
Ray Scott.
Ray Scott.
It's his cowboy hat right back there.
Yeah, there it is right there. Fly in the airplane, show up at a random body of water.
You've been cocktailing on this beach, haven't you?
Maybe a hair. Fly in, you know. Fly in there. No, you take two or three rods, a little tackle box. You fly in and you fish. and they put some boats up for you, whatever, and everybody's clueless. They don't have a freaking clue. That's how you find out who the best angler is, Dave. I mean, ultimately, you can't deny that, right?
No, and I would love it. I just don't think we live in a time where it's realistic. I mean, number one, you could never do it for the Classic because the Classic's such a big event now. It wasn't at that time. But I just think, I mean, dude, if we could pull it off, it would be awesome. But I just don't know how you. I mean, I just don't know how you pull that off. You think it's possible? Or are we just talking crazy talk?
Anything's possible, Dave. Out here on the beach.
Okay, so we're just gonna show up and not know. I like it. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. What else you got for me? Talk to me.
I don't know. You've thrown me off. This whole conversation is nowhere near the direction I thought it would go. But I love every bit of it. I mean...
Oh, you want to talk more about how I sucked this year?
No, not at all. Not at all. You didn't suck, dude. Look at you right now. I got all sorts of people like peering in computers and stuff like that. You're freaking on the beach playing a guitar with your shirt off. Every once in a while, I get a small glimpse of a scantily clad person in the background. It's a wonderful podcast, really. Oh, here we go.
On the beach.
Nice.
On the beach. We're going to do a little walk around.
So
do a walk around.
You're going to win one of the next two, right?
100%.
What are these? Are you going to go swimming? What are you doing? You just walking around?
Should I just go in the pool? Should I go in the pool with my guitar? Sing a song?
Might as well.
I got like a $2,500 guitar right now, Dave.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It'll be all right.
Are you really getting in the water?
Yeah.
Is that your children cheering
got
for
the
you?
family. Yeah, Daddy.
Yeah, vacation's back.
Hey, look, it's Big Dave Mercer. Big Daddy Dave.
Hi.
Yeah, we're loving it. We're loving it. We're loving it.
I can't take any more of your time away from your children, dude. I feel bad now. Now that I saw them, I feel horrible.
Dave, I enjoy just getting to hang out with you, man. It's a pleasure.
I feel like we haven't hung out enough this year. Let's fix that the next two events.
Yeah, we should go we should do something.
Let's. So are you rooming with nobody now? You're a loner now?
I'm a loner now. Last two tournaments, I'm with my family, which I've always done that for the past couple years. Going up north to the Champlain and the St. Lawrence River, always been with my family.
Nice.
And never roomed with Larry up there. Just been by myself with my family. You know, we get a little house. We get on the water, they come up, we have a good time, and I go try and find the biggest smallmouth I can catch, because that's all I care about, really.
Yeah.
Catching a big smallmouth.
Well, you're good at it, dude, and you came close to winning one there on the St. Lawrence River. So how about we let's right that wrong, and let's win the last event of the season. One of the last two will be fine, but the last event of the season would be wonderful. Because then you'd be back in the Bassmaster Classic, and everything would be good.
Love it. Would love it. But if not, the old Cowboy's going to be back next year. I'm ready for a restart. I'm ready for a new schedule. I'm honestly, if we could talk about one more thing.
Please.
I'm ready for something new. I've done this for 7-10 years, fishing tournaments. And I know there's a lot of different factors involved. Money, and obviously, is the number one thing. But I would love to go out west, to go explore some new lakes, to do some different stuff. Not that it's getting old, but I guess, because it's getting old. I would like to go do some new stuff, to go to some new lakes, fish some new waters where people haven't been. I don't know. I just think it would be fun, man, you know, to expand our horizons on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
I 100% agree. And I think not just even new locations. I think it's time to try some stuff that we haven't done in a long time. I mean,
Out of the country. Let's go.
Well,
Let's go to a lake in Italy.
And now you're talking silly talk again. Here, we're trying to go to a new location. You're going all the way to Italy? Like,
Whatever.
I'm all for it. My wife would love it. She'd definitely show up for that tournament. But I'd love to see a whole course. I'd love to go back to the old Megabucks plan. You know, do a whole course. How much cooler?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you've heard many great stories about Megabucks, rooming with Larry all the years you have. But I just think now in today's world, how awesome would a whole course be when we have cameras on everybody on all those holes? And I just think it's about freaking time. We need to do a whole course, need to go to a few different places. Maybe not Italy, but hey, I'm good. I'm good with Italy.
Throw a little, maybe a little saltwater action in. Throw some guys out on the beach. No,
now we're going saltwater fishing.
No, that probably wouldn't work. But I grew up in Florida saltwater fishing. That's kind of my roots. I love it, but yeah, change it up a little bit. Let's do some different stuff. But I know there's these towns that, you know, they pay X whatever and they get us in the door and it makes Bass more money and whatever. But I just assume we change it up a little bit, man. There's too many places out there, West Coast, in the mountains, beautiful scenery. Change the format. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just happy to be here, Dave. I'm fortunate to be doing this podcast with you, man. Like I said, and if they don't change it, I'll just keep plugging and keep fishing and doing the best I can.
Let me ask you this: do you think the anglers would be, because I'm all about a West Coast swing. I mean, I had a blast when we went to Havasu, and I mean, it's I would love to go back out west. But do you think the anglers would support it now? The majority of the anglers.
No, there's too many. The economy sucks.
Yeah,
we got freaking the economy sucks.
Hey, you were gonna go somewhere there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was gonna go somewhere.
I just saw you reel it back in live.
Yeah, I reeled it back in. It's tough. It's tough money wise. I mean, you think about it. It's way too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a guy like me that won 2 tournaments last year. I've got the best sponsorships you could ask for. Signed 3-year contracts with companies. And I'm not hurting, but things aren't. It's tough. It's tough times. I mean, honestly, it's not easy. And with the economy and the stuff the way it's going, it's tough. So you're going to have guys complaining about having the expenses to go out there. I mean, it's a lot of extra expense to drive out there, but I don't care. I would go anyway, just because it's new territory and it's new family. New places I could go with my family and explore and new experiences, and I would love it. And but I don't know, Dave. I think there's just so many people that are complaining about this and that, and it probably wouldn't work.
There's a lot of complaining. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
When you're not on the beach, you probably hear every once in a while somebody complaining about something. It's a wild time. It's a wild time. Here's another thing I'd like us to do. I want us to go. Remember the E50s, dude? And when they had the nighttime weigh-ins, I mean, how awesome would it be to have a nighttime weigh-in in one of these tournaments? You know what I mean? Start a little later.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, a lot of the southern events early in the year, we get fog delays. So, hey, let's circumvent the fog delay. We won't start till 11 o'clock. Then we'll weigh in the evening. I mean, it'll be a party.
Yeah. Smith Lake would have been a great place for that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I could bring the guitar.
Yeah?
We wouldn't have killed so many fish at Smith Lake. It would have been much better.
Yeah, that is.
To be honest with you.
Well,
but it is what it is. Dave, we're just gonna keep plugging, baby. Keep plugging.
Right. Are you gonna sing another song on your way out here? We're gonna have more music. Is that? What do we got?
We can do another song here before we go. What do you like, Dave? What's his password? Is fine.
Oh, don't say it out loud.
4-6.
Oh boy, now everyone knows.
Oh, nobody's gonna get on this, Dave. Come on, Dave.
I mean, I like
I
a
should get my
lot.
wife. Hey, Scott, we gotta sing a song and exit this show. Let's do it.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Pull up some lyrics. Let's just finish on the
How
one we
about-
did. What do you got, Dave?
We'll go wherever you want. I mean, I'm good with whatever. I mean, Jimmy Buffett, a little Willie Nelson, a little wherever you want to go.
Little Willie Nelson.
Kenny Chesney,
Little Jimmy
whatever you're
Buffett,
into.
little
Jimmy
Kenny Chesney.
Buffett, I think Jimmy Buffett's fitting. No.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett's always fitting, but
Hey, let me tell you a quick Jimmy Buffett story. So this year we go down to the Keys, and my daughter loves Jimmy Buffett, and with good reason. I mean, Jimmy Buffett is a badass. I love him.
Yeah.
But so obviously Jimmy passed, and we see this Jimmy Buffett tour we go for, right? And it's $100 a head, and literally we just walked around Key West, and the girl was like, "You see this place? That's where Jimmy Buffett got his groceries." And then we went to another place. You see this place? Jimmy Buffett once got drunk here. And Jimmy,
Yeah.
I'm like, 90% of that might have been a lie, but we did have a good time. We did have a good time on the Jimmy Buffett tour.
Jimmy Buffett's got some great beach sounds.
Yeah.
We're just waiting on somebody to get their
wow.
phone rigged up. Hey, let's do a Chris Stapleton song.
Oh, I love me some Chris
Margaritaville.
Stapleton.
We'll just do some Margaritaville.
I'm fine. I love that too.
All right. We're just waiting, Dave. I'm sorry. This is not good for the podcast.
No, it's not great. I'll be honest. It's not great.
But we're out here. We're in the palm trees. Check out these palms.
Oh,
I mean, that's a beach life, right?
that
We're at
is.
the pool.
You got the place
if you
to
could-
yourself.
If
It's
you
not even
could
that
see
busy.
over this, if you could see over this dune right here, the waves are tremendously big right now. We've had there's been a lot of storms here,
Yeah.
and there's old boys surfing out there and surfing USA, little Beach Boys action.
You ever surfed?
No, negative. Oh, Cowboy don't surf.
Just ride bulls, not boards.
No, Cowboy don't ride bulls. Scott, we're in on a podcast right now.
Get your act together, Scott. Come on.
Here, talk to Dave.
Hi. You never know where this show's going to take you.
You never know where it's going to take you, Dave.
What the hell is Scott doing?
I don't know, man. He's over there. You know, Scott's a funny guy. He's my father-in-law. And he every time I'm in a tournament, he calls me on my phone.
Don't answer.
And I'm like, what are you doing calling me, dude? Yeah, you don't want to talk to your family while you're on the phone. You can probably get in trouble for doing that.
Don't do that.
So, hey, Gwen, you want to come over here and talk to Dave and we'll sing a song together? Let's do that Chris Stapleton one that we just practiced earlier. Scott, give me your phone. The one, nibbling on sponge cake. Let's do that. You don't have the
Here we go.
lyrics up or the chords.
This was so smooth up till this point.
Yeah, I know.
It was so smooth.
You know, Dave, life is not usually smooth.
Sometimes
it could
it's a
be,
hiccup.
but we got to finish this show in a little Margaritaville, or else it's going to be terrible. When trying to pull up the tabs for Margaritaville, and now I got to download the app. Okay, Dave. Hey, Dave. Thank you for having me on the show. We can't get the tabs up.
This was such a letdown.
Nibbling on sponge cake. We're just improvised. Sunbaked. We know the words? Don't know the word, Dave. Do. Do 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 do. Wishing away again in Margaritaville. Woo! We got it. Searching for my lost shaker song. And claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know
I don't.
it's nobody's fault. There you go, Dave. That wasn't the greatest, but we love you,
It
Dave
was.
Mercer.
Hey,
Thanks for having
that
old
was.
Cowboy on the podcast.
Well, thank you. That is that's the second best song we've ever had performed here. I think you were a little stronger at the beginning there, but it's strong. First shirtless guest, first musical guest. I'll see you. Are you icast next week?
Oh yeah, baby. Hey, me and my wife are going to be there. We're going to be in the Grundens booth, and they got a live band playing. But I'm going to bring the old guitar, and I think we'll jump up there and play a little jams. So, and we're going to be in
All
a
right.
golf tournament. You playing in the golf tournament, Dave?
Hell no, too hot for me. I'm out. I'll
Come
be there at the
on,
last minute.
Dave.
I am. It is Orlando in July. Screw that. I will show up at the last minute. I will only be in air conditioning, other than when I have to walk across the street, and then we'll get back on a plane and come back home. It's too hot.
Well,
dude.
I'll look
I
forward to
don't need
seeing
another
you
reason
in
to sweat.
you probably be in the Phoenix booth, right? Phoenix.
Yeah,
Berkeley,
I'll be Berkeley
Bass.
boots. Yeah, be all over the place.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we do it. We do it together, baby. We do it together.
All right, I will see you there.
All right, Dave.
The Cowboy, Joey Cifuentes. So that was clearly a very different Cowboy than you're used to seeing, and guess what? I'm here for it. Thank you, Joey Cifuentes, for being so real, for being so honest, for being so open, for taking time away from your family on your vacation and whatever else you might have been up to this afternoon. Thank you for being you. And I thank all the anglers that take the time to be themselves on this show. It really means the world to me. And I think it means a lot to you guys, the viewers. So thank you for tuning in. That's all I got for you. If you see me down in Orlando at icast, say hello. If not, I'll see you here next week. Have a great week. Enjoy being. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?